The BBC studio was filled with a tense, artificial calm before the broadcast. Every movement was measured, every breath held just a little too long, as if the entire room was bracing for something unseen. The lights were harsh, erasing every shadow, as Jonathan Hayes, a veteran reporter known for his sharp interviews, faced Maria Fernandez, a teacher from the Philippines who had never been on live television before. Maria's quiet dignity contrasted with the studio's sterile perfection. She sat upright, hands folded, her presence calm and composed amid the clinical brightness. Jonathan's baritone voice carried the weight of authority, his questions smooth and practiced, each word carefully chosen to maintain control of the conversation. Maria answered in thoughtful, melodic English, her accent hinting at distant islands and warm seas. Her words were measured, her tone gentle but unwavering, as if she were teaching a lesson to the world. The shift was subtle, a tightening in Jonathan's eyes, a smirk as he mimicked Maria's words. It was a fleeting moment, but unmistakable to anyone paying attention. He exaggerated her accent, turning it into a caricature, a small act of cruelty amplified by the microphones and broadcast to millions. The mockery was casual, almost routine, but its impact was immediate and sharp. The studio's calm shattered, not with noise, but with a heavy, profound stillness. It was as if the air itself had thickened, pressing down on everyone present. The crew froze behind the glass, their hands hovering over controls, eyes wide with disbelief at what had just unfolded on live television. Maria did not flinch or look away. She held Jonathan's gaze, her expression steady and unbroken, refusing to give him the satisfaction of seeing her falter. The silence spoke volumes. A woman refusing to be diminished, her quiet strength filling the space between them. It was the silence of someone who understood the weight of the moment, who had carried such moments before, and who knew that sometimes silence could be the loudest response. This was not just about her, but about everyone who had ever been made to feel small for how they spoke. The world was watching, and in that instant, the studio became a stage for something much larger than an interview. Maria, the quiet teacher, was about to give a lesson, not just in language, but in dignity, resilience, and the power of presence. The moment hung in the air, waiting for what would come next. The world held its breath, sensing that something important was about to unfold. Jonathan, realizing his misstep, tried to move on, hoping the moment would pass unnoticed, but the tension in the air was unmistakable, and every eye in the room seemed to linger on him, waiting for what would come next. Maria stopped him with a simple commanding gesture, her presence radiating quiet authority. The power in the room shifted. She had taken the floor, and everyone sensed that something important was about to unfold. "May I ask you a question, Mr. Hayes?" she said, her voice steady and strong, echoing across the studio with a calm confidence that demanded attention. The directness caught him off guard. He nodded, unsure, his usual composure slipping as he braced himself for what was to come. "You speak English so beautifully," Maria began, her words both a compliment and a challenge. "But does your English know the taste of mangoes picked fresh in the morning, the sound of ocean waves in Palawan, the gentle hush that greets the dawn, the scent of salt and sun mixing in the air, the stories my grandmother told me in our local tongue, the laughter and wisdom passed down through generations, woven into every word?" Her questions were gentle, but they landed with force, stirring something deep within everyone present. The studio shrank. The real world, vibrant and diverse, entered. Jonathan had no answer, his mind racing as he realized the depth of what was being asked. For once, the man of many words was speechless, his silence speaking volumes. Maria's question was about the soul of language, more than grammar or accent. It was about the heart and spirit that give words their true meaning. It was about memory, culture, and life, about the stories that shape us, the flavors and sounds that make us who we are. The moment became a challenge, not just to Jonathan, but to everyone watching, inviting them to reflect on their own connections to language and heritage. What is language for, if not to carry our stories, our dreams and our memories across time and distance? The silence that followed was filled with meaning. The lesson had begun, and its echoes would linger long after the cameras stopped rolling. Maria was not a celebrity. She was not someone whose name appeared in headlines or whose face was recognized by many. She was a teacher from a small Philippine town, quietly shaping lives in a place where resources were few, but hope was abundant. For 20 years, she taught English not just as a subject, but as a living, breathing tool for connection, a bridge to the wider world. In her classroom, accent was not a flaw, but a sign of a journey, a testament to the many paths her students had walked. She celebrated the diversity of Filipino English, encouraging her students to be confident in their voices, to speak up and be proud of who they were. When Jonathan mocked her accent, he mocked not just Maria, but her students and her life's work, dismissing years of dedication and care. Maria's calm response was rooted in love for her students and her profession, a love that had weathered many storms. She turned disrespect into instruction, not with anger but with quiet conviction, showing her students the strength and kindness. Her lesson was clear: communication is about understanding, not perfection, about reaching hearts, not just following rules. She offered a new perspective: language as a shared space, not a measure of superiority, a place where everyone belongs. In that studio, Maria became a teacher for the world, her message echoing far beyond her small town. Her truth was powerful, her silence profound, speaking volumes to those willing to listen. She didn't seek to shame, but to enlighten. The world listened. The lesson was clear: respect every voice, for every voice has a story. The broadcast clip spread online before the show ended. Filipinos worldwide saw themselves in Maria, her voice, her dignity, her pain. Comments poured in. "Thank you, Ma'am Maria, for speaking for all of us." The video became a rallying point, a digital space for validation and pride. People posted videos of themselves speaking English in their own accents. The hashtag #MyAccentIsMyStory trended globally. Voices from India, Nigeria, Jamaica, and beyond joined in, celebrating their unique English. The internet became a festival of linguistic diversity. This was about more than English. It was about who decides what is correct. Maria's question unlocked a global conversation. People reclaimed their voices, wearing their accents as badges of honor. The digital world buzzed with pride and solidarity. Maria's words echoed far beyond the BBC studio. Her lesson became an anthem for millions. The world was listening and responding. A movement was born. The moment became a cultural shift, not just a viral clip. Major news outlets analyzed its significance. Experts discussed linguistic prejudice. Corporations reviewed training, launching campaigns for linguistic inclusion. Maria's video became a tool in workshops on unconscious bias. The idea of a standard accent was challenged in boardrooms and classrooms. Teachers worldwide shared the clip, sparking conversations about identity and respect. English schools shifted focus from accent reduction to communication clarity. Maria's lesson was retaught in thousands of classrooms. Even Hollywood felt the ripple. Calls for authentic representation grew. The My Accent Is My Story movement demanded stories that celebrated, not mocked, diverse voices. One teacher's quiet strength sparked a wave of change. The world was rethinking language, identity, and respect. The ripple became a tide. The lesson spread everywhere. Maria's words reframed the accent, not as a flaw, but as a story. An accent became a map of origins, family, and heritage. Immigrants and post-colonial communities found new pride in their voices. Maria's message: your accent is your strength, not your weakness. Each way of speaking English is a testament to resilience and connection. The Filipina nurse in London, the Indian engineer in Silicon Valley, their accents tell epic stories. This perspective invites us to listen for the story, not the mistake. Every conversation becomes a chance for discovery. Judgment is replaced by curiosity. The accent is a bridge, not a barrier. Maria's metaphor changed how we hear each other. The world learned to listen differently. Every voice carries a journey. Every accent is a story worth hearing. The movement grew from a desire for dignity, not revenge. Jonathan's smirk was familiar to many, a symbol of everyday prejudice. Maria's refusal to be diminished ignited a global celebration. So My Accent Is My Story was filled with pride, not anger. People showcased the beauty and rhythm of their accents. The movement shifted from defense to celebration. It was about claiming worth, not asking for tolerance. All accents were declared valid, all stories important. The movement fostered global solidarity. People connected across borders. One act of mockery became a platform for millions. The world saw that disrespect could be transformed into positive change. Maria's lesson. Our voices are vital parts of our identity. The movement was a festival of voices, not a plea for acceptance. It was a declaration of independence, linguistic and personal. The BBC faced a flood of complaints. Jonathan Hayes was taken off the air. When he returned, he was changed, quieter, more reflective. He opened with a personal statement, admitting he'd never considered the perspective of those learning English as a second language. He began to see language as a bridge, not a barrier. His apology wasn't perfect, but it was a start. The real change was in his actions. He listened more, judged less. He asked guests about their hometowns and native words for home or joy. He treated guests as whole people, not just sources. Maria's lesson had reached him. She hadn't shamed him. She'd invited him to see differently. His journey became part of the larger story. It showed that change is possible, even for those in power. His ongoing effort was a quiet, unspoken apology. The incident left a lasting mark on global culture. It didn't end prejudice, but it changed the conversation. A new grammar of respect emerged. Language as identity, not just skill. Every voice carries a history worth hearing. Maria's legacy lives in everyday interactions. A manager listening, a student complimenting, a child proud of their parents' accent. The English language grew richer, absorbing new rhythms and words. The idea of a single owner of English faded. Maria's story is one of hope and humility. It reminds us that grace can teach, and quiet truth can resonate. One person's dignity can spark a global movement. The most important lesson: listen with an open heart and find our shared humanity.